My name is Kelsey Derousse, and I'm from DeSoto, Missouri. The first time I ever went to my first dance class, I thought I was going to hate it. And I came out and I told my mom I had the time of my life, and I kept dancing ever since. After I leave here, I graduate December of 2018. I am going to find a master's program in counseling, and eventually I want to pursue a degree in dance movement therapy and help little children. Its purpose is to help children, mainly children, because that's what I want to work with, just speak and talk to somebody without having to sit down in a setting, just, the therapist and the child, and having to tell them how their day is or what's going on or why they're there. They can just come and move freely, and physically it helps them, and also it releases those endorphins, and it helps them chemically feel better and release what's going on in their lives and help them. For the winter dance concert, there's an audition process, and there are different, so choreographers have to send in proposals on what they want to do for the winter dance concert, and those are chose. And after those are chose, then there's an audition, and all of those choreographers are allowed to audition for the other choreographers' pieces as well. So after that, then the choreographers sit down and choose who they want to be in their piece. You can choose to be in a piece or not once you're auditioning for all of the pieces going into the audition. So whether you choose to be in that piece or not, once they cast you, then that's totally up to you. So my piece, I was driven by a poem by Tyler Ford. It's called Too Much, and he's a transgender, and he's a poet, and he's a public speaker. And I was really moved by this poem, not because it's about gender, inequality and stuff like that, but because it talks about someone being too much, and to just know that no matter what in this world, you will never be too much, and don't ever think that you are in this world enough to go, commit suicide or whatever. So I feel like that is something that's really going on in today's world, that people feel like maybe they're too much to fit in somewhere, or maybe they don't fit in enough. But really they just need to be themselves and not care what other people think, and to just know that they're loved and they're beautiful, and it doesn't matter. So I am taking that idea, and I'm not directly describing the poem within the piece, but I'm using it as a drive to make my piece happen. My brother, actually, my older brother, he's not a dancer. He was an Lindenwood University student. He graduated here with 4 degrees, and he is gay. And so just knowing that there is people out there that think that they're too much, or think that they won't ever be loved, or think that they're not good enough, or I can connect this in a way to myself, but not in that direct way. Just the fact that sometimes where you don't fit in and where you think that you are too much, just to get that realization that you're not, that who cares? Be who you are. And I just feel like as a dancer and as a mover and as an artist, you have to look on the outside of the box and think outside the box. And I feel like it drove me to the idea that I can make this piece driven with this poem and not do anything with the poem directly, but I can make it something. I am pretty drug on the fact that if you like the piece and your dancers are doing good doing the piece, then that's all that matters, and that they feel that connection and they feel a purpose of why they're doing it. I wanted to just go on and dance professionally for companies first. Then at Missouri Valley College, for the dance ensemble, we took it was like a project base over to Butterfield, which is an orphanage. And we got to work with some of them doing movement therapy related exercises with them. It was like a course. So I found that really interesting, and it really opened up my eyes to, oh my gosh, like this is what I want to do. Like, I love this. Like, this is what I want to do with my life. So I think that's what really drove it home for me. Just connecting with those kids there and seeing them so happy to not have to talk to anyone about what's going on or how their day was. They just got to move freely, and they were just so happy afterwards. So I think that's what really did it for me.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
My name's Armani Johnson. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I lived in Mississippi for about 6 years where I graduated high school, and then I moved to Belleville 5 years ago. I actually self-trained forever until I came to Lindenwood. I didn't train. I did a little bit in theater, elementary school. I did majorette in middle school and high school, but I didn't feel like those were like my solid forms. I never got to step in studio. I was always thriving to do those things. The most studio time that I did was in theater when I did productions, but that was it. So I got this like little taste of like tap or a buffalo or something like that, and I kind of just ran with it. I learned videos. I was like a YouTube fanatic when it like started coming out. I was trying to learn all of the moves. Honey came out, and I learned the little bow wow part. I was so excited. I was like, little bow wow, yep. And then I learned Shark Tales came out. When Shark Tales came out, all of the dancing that they did, they recorded it live with dancers in blue suits. And so you got to learn all of the choreography. Like, my mom bought me the DVD, so I learned the Shrimps part and Will Smith's part. I was just so hyped. So whenever my mom brought me home videos, I was learning. I'm inspired most by Twyla Tharp. I didn't learn about her until I came here, but she says in one of her interviews about learning everything that you can, being prepared for whatever comes at you. And I think that's kind of how my dancing evolved. Like, it wasn't necessarily always dance. Like I said, I've partaken in so many different things that I think it was just about the movement. I wanted to learn how to move. I wanted to learn what not necessarily was socially acceptable, but what was the rules of the things that I was involved in, and how could I enhance those things, and how could I be like not the best, but better than yesterday's. So I kind of just took the time to learn more, and that has taken my dance from one level to the next level. And then here, I got to do so many different things. ACDA, I came back from Beyonce's choreographer, and all of my teachers were like, ACDA turned you into a whole new dancer. When I didn't necessarily think that, I just thought it kind of like opened up another shell, like another layer. I kind of feel like a snake where you just shed off your old history, but you're still that same snake. You get to grow and expand more. So I think that my dancing evolves every day, and life experiences, dance experiences, movement experiences, cheerleading, it just kind of just takes over, and that's what my personality like is. Like, if I could turn into something, it would be like movement. Like, I don't know what movement would be, but I would be it. I think dancing teaches you responsibility, and responsibility in a lot of different ways. It makes you accountable for not only yourself, but every time you dance with another dancer, that's your team. So it makes you responsible for them as well, because you a lot of the time want to be on time with them. It makes you responsible and accountable for the music. You have to count, you have to know where you are, you have to be aware of a lot of things rather just than you. It's about body, space, time, energy, all of those things, dynamic, and that's what builds the whole production. So I think it teaches you discipline in a way and how to focus on emoting a lot more than just choreography to an audience, but also to yourself as well. I never gave up on my dreams. My parents aren't financially the best or in the best situation. I knew that I was always going to be a dance major. I went to junior college for 3 years, and everyone would be like, "Oh, what are you majoring in?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a double major in dance and Spanish." And they're like, "Oh, you take dance classes here?" And I'm like, "No, there's no dance classes." "Oh, have you taken any studio?" "No, I've never taken studio." I just never let it go. I was really good at math. I was like, I'm going to be a math teacher. It's like, let's just settle. No. I was like, my aunt speaks six different languages. She was like, just learn one. You can teach that. And I was like, okay. And I was like, but I can never let that go. I don't care how long it takes. I will forever keep the moment of knowing my dreams and aspirations ever since I was a little kid and pushing like to always get that. And that's what I do here is I come here and I learn as much as I can. I go into my classrooms, I focus, and I take all the technique that I can because I know my dreams are going to take me somewhere. And I know that as long as I don't ever let them go, I'll never let myself go. And I know I'll never settle for that. I honestly am looking forward to seeing my piece like actually on stage. Like I've done a couple of different sets before, small things with choreographing theater, or I did some high school hip hop club stuff, and those are always really great because the kids love it. But like this actually means something to me. Like this has actually grown. This was something that I set on these dancers, and it was my idea, and they looked to me for all of the inspiration, and I gave them all of my passion for it. So I'm just excited to actually see it happen. I thought I was gonna get here and 2 weeks before the concert still be all over my head with what I really wanted to do, and actually it kind of just fell into place. Like one thing fell into another thing, and when I see my piece now in rehearsal, I'm like, I didn't even choreograph that like connection right there. And then I see the connection and it makes me smile. So I just want to see my piece like on stage. I'm so excited. I originally set a love story between a king and a queen, and it was going to be a battle of chess. Well, I didn't get the dancers, like all the dancers that I wanted, so that kind of wrangled me left and right, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I thought I was going to do something on sleep apnea where it was all about a dream, and that just didn't go anywhere. It just didn't make sense to me. And I took a lot of inspiration from my mom, and my mom loves the artist that I used, and I kind of just heard this song and was like, okay, I want to use this song. And from there, I kind of just, I don't want to say I did everything on spot because I didn't. I did meditate about a lot of things, but I kind of just worked on movements that I wanted to see, and then I placed them where I thought they looked the best. So it was kind of conditional. I waited until I saw my dancers every Sunday, and then we kind of worked together to make the best decisions together. Like what made sense to them, what made sense to what I wanted the audience to pick up, and then from there I kind of just worked on it and saw things, and I was like, that didn't make sense, so I scratched it, and then I recreated something else, and then I saw it, and then it made sense. And like I said, some moments that I choreographed like over here and the dancers over here completely like collaborate with each other, and it just looked great. And I was like, I didn't even mean for that to happen at all, and I'm just so happy about it. I was so surprised, actually. It was a process that seemed like it was going to be really difficult, and it kind of just fell into place. I haven't seen any other pieces, but for my piece, I want the audience to take back a focus of how relatable you can be to other people, and how going through those things can help each other. Like you can help each other through those things, because a lot of the time, even if I don't know exactly what you're going through, I can do my best to relate to you in that situation and then go from there, and then you don't feel alone. So my piece is called A Better Me, and in finding a better me, I I don't know how to say it. Like adm- I appreciate the experience that I get from knowing other people, like all of my friends and all of the experiences that I've come here, and it takes a long time to heal from that stuff. So it was all about hurt and pain, and then it kind of just, you slowly but surely find a better me through that. So strength, perseverance, inspiration, just don't ever lose it. And that's kind of what I wanted for my piece, is just don't ever lose it. You'll find it. Just take your time.
There's an ocean, a train of all its fear. Took a back, but just can't get clear. Wonder when you show, if not, everything is in between. You and I were supposed to grow, 'cause it was a symptom unknown. There's a power that knows just how you feel. We were prone to feel the love not real. Oh yeah. Wonder when you'll show. If not, I'm gonna feel what I feel. You and I were supposed to grow. It was your symptom unknown. Blame it on things untold. You and I were supposed to grow. Guess it was a symptom unknown. Guess it wasn't things that you hold. Yes, it was the way it was cold. I guess it was, yeah. There's a charm that used to smile. There's a man that used to feel as what am I supposed to do without you close? Who am I supposed to try to toast? No. What am I supposed to do? Ooh. If you don't show. If you don't show.
I I think I'm gonna go through some really drastic changes, and like it's like you said about evolution, it's gonna take me in a couple different spots, but eventually I want to own my own school. I want to own my own school with every part of art that I could have, like music, theater, dancing, instruments, like literature, painting. Like I just want to be able to see kids grow. We see a lot of performing arts and art programs being cut in public schools and districts, and that means a lot to me. I played viola since I was in third grade. I went from viola to violin to cello, all of these things. My brothers are artists. One of them actually could lose his hearing at any given moment, and I want to learn about languages because those are an art as well. And I aspire to own all of these things later on in life, but until then, I want to do teaching. I want to teach in studios. I want to teach therapy. I kind of want to do dance therapy. I'm going to come back to Lindenwood for my master's in social work, which took me a long time to figure out. You go through so many different changes being in college. Before you come to college, I thought I was going to be a math teacher, and then I get here and I'm just like, all right, I'm not going to do that anymore. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to change my major like junior year. I'm like, oh, I could never do that. But I thought I was going to come back to do my master's in education when I don't think that that's what I really want to do. I think that that's something that I can obtain later on in life. I really want to touch like young adolescents in movement, in autism, in any type of disability that they want to thrive in movement, and push them to be able to learn as much as they can. So I want to be able to work with them. So my ideal job is dance therapy, but until then, I would love to perform. I want to go to Disney and do their internship and perform there. I want to perform with whoever takes me, Usher, Justin Bieber. Lady Gaga's not my favorite artist, but her concerts are amazing. Her choreography is spectacular. So I just want to thrive a little bit around the world and then settle down somewhere.